All right, welcome back. It's already Wednesday, 4th of December. We are 2 days away from the NFP, and it looks like the market is asking for it because it has been quite quiet. It's been just in the range, the dollar, FX mostly. The US indices, actually, we have seen a push to the upside. Question mark is, until when are you going to continue to see these new higher highs being created in the US indices? Today I divided a little bit the stream just because I was listening to the Pedro that he was speaking in a conference in New York. It was interesting conversation. Basically, it looks like that we are going to have that 25 basis point cut in 2 weeks from now on the 18th of December, but then we may have a little bit of a pause. The economy looks strong, the data looks strong, which means that there's no need for it to kind of continue this path of rate cuts from the Fed in 2025, at least at the pace that has been going on at the moment. Maybe we can have some pauses along the way. Then, of course, there are also some questions regarding Trump and the idea of Trump in regards to what he thinks about the Federal Reserve and the autonomy of the Federal Reserve, but that doesn't really matter for us in here. In terms of the news, like we had the services PMI today. It came out as expected across the majority of the zones, countries in this case. In the US, it was actually slightly lower. Like let's talk about in Eurozone. In the UK, it came out as what is it? 50, so slightly better, but at least about 50. And in the US, we had a little bit of a lower number, which was we saw the reaction a little bit on the dollar, pushing to the downside. Then you had ADP non-farm payroll as well, slightly lower than expected, but the big thing was actually the revision that was from the last month, 133 to 184. So that's a big difference. Tomorrow we have unemployment claims, and then of course Friday we have NFP. So we will see what's going to happen in there. At this point, we continue within the same range. Like if I put on the daily time frame, looking at the dollar index again, if you are new, basically we are doing here a pre-market analysis, trying to identify the best trading opportunities for tomorrow trading session, at least to find one or two good setups that you can take advantage from. But as you can see at this guys, this was yesterday's candle on the daily on the dollar index, and this is today's daily candle. Like so, as you can see, didn't even manage to break above the highs on Monday, and it just keep ranging in here. So it's quite boring at this point. Price is not really moving that much. I'm not interested whatsoever in these levels where this dollar index is trading at the moment. If you guys recall, again, when we did our weekly market analysis, that is something that we do on Sundays. The question mark was, once again, is price going to create a kind of a double top on the dollar index if we do retrace back to this level, or should we just continue to look for this continuation in here on the dollar index? That will be a little bit of the question. Again, we'll see. Maybe tomorrow we're going to have a little bit of a momentum. I don't really think that you're going to have a third day in a row just within this range. So I want to see some momentum. And the momentum is either kind of goes to downside, even break these lows and start going lower, or the momentum is price goes up and actually approaches this level in here. And then we'll see what's going to happen during the NFP, right? So if by any chance on Friday price is around this level, which we can talk about that tomorrow, then we may look for some price action PI at around this level to see if there's any clues that you can look for to expect price to drop. Like again, on dollar index, we did manage to break this structure. I could see a little bit more of a move to downside, at least in this time frame that you are looking at. In the bigger picture, we did manage to break higher, so we can even expect price to go higher in the future. But for now, we will see. All right, so this is basically what we have. Indecision, plenty of a decision is, again, as I mentioned, it's definitely nothing that I'm really concerned about, in the sense that I don't want to trade these levels in here. So much in the middle, price can go up and down, can fake out the highs, can fake out the lows without even giving any information, and that's not what I want to look for. So moving along, now we're going to the US indices. All right, so in the US indices, what we have is something different. we have all-time highs. Okay, we have this momentum that you can see in here on S&P, even Nasdaq. Dow actually was the first to break all-time highs. Now it's kind of a bit more in the range, but we have the momentum. We have literally this compression in here, as you can see. One spike down, prices continues, and then another spike down, and prices continues. This spikes actually reacted really nicely, because if you can see, this is basically what we have. So we start this compression from here, and you have this level behind. That's exactly where this one now spikes, it reacts from, because every order in here has been picked up. Price reacts from it, and it cleans the orders from here. Maybe there's still a little bit of a zone in there, but it starts collecting those orders. Now another move up, another move to the upside. Like how beautiful this kind of channel is being created in here on the S&P. Now, one thing in regards to the indices that we are going to, I think we should be starting to pay attention to, is actually look at the VIX. Okay, so the VIX is at this demand zone, like at this level where it has been kind of ranging for a while, or kind of finding kind of a level of support in here for quite a long period of time in the past, and also in more recently, like in June, July, and so on. Until then, on that 5th of August, we had that push up because of the carry trade on the end pairs. Basically, had that push up, and then price all of a sudden came all the way back again to be at this 12-13 level. All right, so now this is a strong compression that we have in here as well. Again, I just want you guys to take in consideration what we can, or the data that you can use from here in order to look for the US indices, because anytime we do have a push to the upside in here, usually we see push to the opposite on the US indices, and we are literally at around this level. So all of those all-time highs that we are seeing now on the US indices, it may have a little bit of a bounce as the VIX is approaching this level, right? And the VIX can then eventually go all the way back closer to this 18 mark, right? So that's something to pay attention to. We actually start to have a little bit of an impulse now. This was now while the Fetcher Power was speaking. We did manage to break also this trend line that is in here. So we are getting into that level. I'm really curious to see if we're going to have a little bit of a push up, and then maybe we can look for those retracements on US indices. Of course, we need to look for the confirmation on US indices, as obvious. Like, you need to find your own entries in there, but this is kind of a nice chart to pay attention to in terms of confluence and looking when to look for that for those turns. And the price is at a good level in here. Now, coming back into the S&P. All right. So at this point, let it go. All right, let it go. Again, I've done a recorded video, and I shared with all of you guys in here on YouTube a couple of months ago, because of the all-time highs, and I was expecting price to continue to create all-time highs throughout the year of 2024, and I explained usually what I look for before any potential reversal when price is trading at all-time highs. So let it go. Like, we see the compression, but we still see the momentum. We haven't seen any lows being broken, and that's what we want to look for. All right, so we want to see those lows being broken, and it didn't happen. So let it continue, let it range. Eventually, the type of PA that you want to look for, of course, is maybe create a little bit kind of a double, maybe top. Again, break that structure, and then you can have that kind of manipulation. Like, you already know a little bit of the pattern that usually tends to be created at around this level, and US price all of a sudden starts creating a lot of momentum to the upside in a kind of literally compression way, and then all of a sudden it goes and makes a good reaction. If that happens quite aggressively, then maybe we can look for it, but that may just be a high being created for a retracement, and then price may actually retest that level once again, pick out that level, and then maybe we can actually have the bigger retracement in here on the S&P. Now, something to pay attention as well, like, it's that, like, we had that high, right, when we have all the structure, and yeah, price may actually have retested in here. All right, so maybe that zone was already retested. That breakout setup that usually we'll be looking for, maybe that was in here. So okay, that's, in this case, everything is okay. Even though we do create now this double bottom in there, which eventually can lead into a potential target into that zone as well, but you do have this structure in here as well that price can respect. So let it go. Okay, so tomorrow maybe we can have something in here. We need to continue to track price. We have now this kind of resistance zone in here that becomes a support level, and we are going to continue to track price to see eventually when you do have a low being broken in here on the S&P. Nasdaq, it's exactly the same thing with one small difference, and that's actually what I wanted to mention before, is that Nasdaq hasn't really retested the previous high. All right, so we did manage to break this all-time high in here. One second, let me just put this one correctly. Okay, so we did have this break in here to the upside, and price hasn't really retested this level. So we still have that potential trade, that potential target that eventually we can look for in here on the Nasdaq whenever price decides to kind of retest or come back into this level. Now in here, as you can see, you already have a little bit of a break to the downside. All right, so we had this low being broken already, even though price just retested the next structure, but it's already a low being broken, something that you didn't really had on the S&P. And you can even maybe look at this one as well, potentially as a low being broken as well in there, even though again price may just retest something else, maybe this extreme in here. But at least in here on the Nasdaq, we start seeing some lows being broken in here. And again, eventually that's the level that I'm going to be looking for. So we can eventually have, and maybe tomorrow, all right, we'll see. I don't know yet when you're going to have that move, but eventually we can have that, right, pushing price in here. And then maybe from this previous level of all-time high, from the previous level of resistance, maybe price can find some more buying pressure, even from this amount as well, and then continue to push the upside. All right, but that's initially the potential move that we have. Looking at the daily candle, this is just a complete strong bullish candle in here that you are creating, but that eventually can lead to a retracement. And maybe tomorrow we'll see when it's going to happen. I will keep an eye on it. All right, I'll keep an eye on it. Again, I'm not going to be aggressive in this type of situation because it's all-time high. So again, you never really know when price is kind of tired of going up. As you can see, we created this structure. Price already retested from it in here. So maybe now the only thing left behind is a little bit of this demand zone, but price already retested from the previous level in here. And then continue to track price. All right, continue to track price in here. And now we do have those lows, as I mentioned, being broken. So that's something that you can pay attention to. But overall, price is still moving to the upside. So let it continue to run in here. 1 second. All right, yeah, and then you have all this structure in here, so you can do it this one in here. All right, so that's something that you can keep an eye on and definitely set up maybe alert below that level, because breaking below that level, it may open door to go close to here, and then maybe take some orders from there, and then eventually all the orders start being taken, and price can make that move. Dow, yeah, Dow is the same thing, so it's just going to the upside. It's created kind of that range. It came up really close. Consider basically that level in there. That's something that we've been looking for. Right, again, these green marks that I'm making here is where I'm expecting price eventually to react from. Right, levels that I'm aware of it. That one was another one. Price kind of reacted a little bit, but then just continues to push higher in here. So yeah, you can create new all-time highs, no surprise whatsoever. Price respected really nicely this structure and potentially can continue. And then we have DAX as well, right? DAX quite aggressively, similar to the S&P, similar to Nasdaq. We never really managed to retrace this level, but price now is quite extended at this point. He kept respecting this demand zone, and then he kept respecting the next one, and now we make another big push up. Now, one thing in here, there you go, right? Now we actually have this low being broken. So we have an initial a little bit of a structure in here of a low being broken, which starts again something that I want to pay attention to. Even though price may have just reacted from this next structure that was created, yeah, that's exactly where price reacted, but it's still low being broken, and I'm curious to see how price may react now from around this level. Is this enough or not on the next? Actually, already kind of a good reaction from here. We have another low being broken in there, so we start seeing a little bit of the selling pressure in here. Maybe this value is still okay, or maybe price can create one last high in here until eventually starts turning, and that potentially is something to pay attention to. Again, I know it may not make sense for me to continue to look for shorts in here when you're breaking all-time highs. I'm just talking about a potential reversal in here, and again, I'm a counter trend trader. Those are more of setups that I look for. If you are a momentum trader, if you are just continue to buy at these all-time highs, maybe use the information that I'm sharing and try to think kind of use my thought process of as a counter trend trader to decide maybe when to kind of take some profits from this bullish trend that you are in, or maybe to avoid continue to look for longs until then price retraces, and then you can look for longs again. All right, for now, it's still momentum, let it run. That's basically what I mentioned in terms of the S&P, Nasdaq, and so on. It's still creating all-time highs, so maybe still at the moment that you can continue to buy in here, or at least trail some stops until eventually those reversal signals starting to be seen in the market. Looking at crypto, like quite a strong move in here. Bitcoin continue to respect that level, now kind of respecting these left shoulders in here. So we'll see what's going to happen at around this level, respecting that level. And then you have Ethereum, which continue to push to the upside. All right, so initially we had that break of a low that we talked about. There was an initial reaction from there. All right, so there was that initial reaction from that supply, but then price just continued to push to the upside from this level. And let's see now what's going to happen in here on Ethereum. Price is getting really close to these highs. Maybe can fake out this level and get a little bit closer into the next one. So that's something to also potentially consider. Second. Perfect. So maybe price can fake out that level, and then we have a little bit of a selling pressure, but now not really going to look that much, even though I do see a few lows in here being broken, which eventually can have that turn. But now price just respected this demand zone after the break, and now pushing higher again. So we need to see that that structure basically being broken. In here, basically price already respected a little bit the supply zone, but price can continue to go a little bit more to the upside. Since price is still respecting this level in here. Solana also continue to go a little bit more to the upside. Then you have Ethereum and Bitcoin, and price finally feel the range, feel the spice in here that we're looking for. Okay, so we have been looking for those longs after price reacted from that demand zone. Really nice move. We talked about that. That could be the trigger for finally we see the momentum on Ethereum, and now price basically feel the range. Right, so at least we tested this high. It can continue to go higher, all right, because this size kind of broke a little bit of structure in here, even though kind of retested that one perfectly. But for now maybe we can find a little bit of a selling pressure in here, and maybe can move see Ethereum moving a little bit more to the downside. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen at around this high in here, to see if price actually is going to break or not. Now, something that we have seen in here is kind of a strong momentum. Usually when you see strong momentums as a last move, that it looks like it's a bullish sign, because it goes into momentum away, but it tends actually to be more of a bearish sign than the bullish sign. So that's something to bear in mind in here. We will see. We did manage to break some structure. Maybe prices respected that one after that. So yeah, this is something to pay attention in here, to see if price kind of comes back into this range or not. All right, so that's maybe the moment that you're going to have a little bit maybe of selling pressure in here on Ethereum, or a little bit more of strength on Bitcoin comparing with Ethereum, basically. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on this as well. There you go, finally. So looking at the Euro index, right? It's another one that we pay quite close attention to. We talked about this level. We mentioned that the price was in this range as well, quite stuck in here for quite a while, and we were looking for price to give us some ideas, right? And of course, nothing better than collecting liquidity above a range is to just fake out and then push to downside, like basically collecting the stop losses from all these traders that were looking for those sells. So that happened in there, and that's exactly what we mentioned as well. Like, wanted to see perhaps a break to the upside first, which in my opinion, it can give us the potential direction where price wants to go, and now we can maybe look of a way for price to come all the way back below these lows, fake out all this structure, and maybe even that going there. Again, we're looking for potential for price to go even below that level, and then maybe price can turn and start pushing even higher. Now this again, Euro index, it broke an important level on the left side. We are still bearish in here in the bigger picture, but maybe this could be a little bit of a PI to see some retracement first before eventually price to continue to push to the downside. So this one looks quite nice. I really like the fact that we managed to fake out that level before even taking these lows. So I'm happy with that as well. The yen index, yeah, this is the one that unfortunately we have been looking for those shorts on the yen index and the longs on the yen pairs. Again, it happened. It was actually yesterday, but it was quite fast to move. Didn't really spend much time in there. Meanwhile, it was already somewhere in here, and we were looking for those shorts. Again, it happened overnight. Then the continuation. Now price broke some structure in here, and I'm still respecting this demand zone, but we could potentially start seeing for maybe a little bit more of a turn. So I'm going to be curious how price may react from this level. All right, potentially to look for shorts in there. Again, price can even go slightly higher. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but for now we'll see. yeah, we'll see in here on the N index what's going to happen, if price is going to continue. Again, yes, we are respecting definitely this demand zone. That's basically where price is, where price paused. So we'll see what's going to happen next. All right, now looking at the individual currency pairs, like so jumping into euro dollar. Again, within the range, all right. Basically within this range, it went maybe slightly higher. We do have still that zone in there that supply price can respect, or even that one as well. Aside from that, nothing has changed. Is price going to eventually create a double bottom from here? Who knows, right? So again, if the dollar index by any chance wants to push higher to potentially create a double top, then you're going to see this euro dollar pushing lower to get into here. Right, we have a few lows highs been broken. That's why I don't like to trade in the middle. Price can do whatever it wants. It can break a low, then go higher, can break a high, then go low. I prefer to look for the extremes. I prefer to look for those levels that that they are less likely to have all this manipulation being created. Right, because if you're just trading in here on a 1 minute time frame and spending out your day just trading this, yeah, so it's great reaction from there. No, like no, everyone can see that. But yeah, it's just a nonsense in here, right? This is where most of these patterns that you maybe try to trade and they get broken. They don't work. It's in this lower time frame, just in the range. Not interested whatsoever in those levels. Pound dollar got a little bit closer to this level again. I'm not even interested in looking for shorts in here on pound dollar, to be honest. I can see that price could hold. Pound dollar already broke a little bit. It could go higher. We did manage to break that level, so maybe we can actually have that push down and then maybe a move to the upside. So maybe that could happen. Did he manage to even fake out this level? If he did, that's nice. No, we didn't. So maybe there's still a level in there that the pound dollar wants to potentially go react from and then move down. Again, we did manage to break slightly this low. That low as well was kind of broken, even though price just retested this level. So we'll see. To be honest, we'll see on the pound dollar. The reason I don't really want to look for shorts is because I'm kind of okay where price is reacting from, and I'm a bit more in a bullish scenario, but I want to look for longs at lows, not where it is right now. So I'm not really sure if this is the right moment to continue to push or look for sales all the way through, because maybe price wants to break it, and only after that maybe goes down. We'll see. Euro pound on the other side is just in a range as well, right? So it's literally just ranging at around this level, not really much going on. Aussie dollar, okay, so Aussie dollar continues to push to the downside, so that was something that we were looking for as well. So we mentioned that I didn't really like all these lows in here, and I didn't really like this neither. Like I could still see this Aussie dollar eventually breaking all the way through. We had the, was it unemployment? What news were there? About that. Hold on a second, something happened. Hold on a second. I'm just literally closed. Okay, I'm still on the stream, I believe. Yep, I think I'm still on the stream. So we have, no, it was GDP in Australia. For some reason, all my Chrome pages just closed. Yeah, so we had that move was slightly lower than expected, and we had the push to the downside on the Aussie. And it gets closer to this level in here. Maybe I count it well and then maybe go higher. We'll see what's going to happen. All right, I think we could just continue and maybe use this low in here as a target eventually. So that's something to bear in mind, right? Or maybe just react from something else in here. We'll see. All right, so that's basically what we have. Start zooming in a little bit more. Yeah, we may have this structure in here where price may react from. So that's something to pay attention to in here. Yeah, maybe price could fake out this level and get into the next one in there. All right. But yeah, nice little move, in here. Of course, we still need to break that high, and price kind of respect a little bit of the structure. We'll see on the Aussie dollar. On the opposite side, we had a strong push to the upside on the Euro Aussie and Pound Aussie. Right, so we had this push away. We talked about this range as well. Price on the Euro Aussie is reacting from a really good level on the left side, so that's perfect for this bigger move upwards after taking and faking out all these lows. Really good move, and maybe the target can be even higher. Right now we took out these highs, so that's the structure. Price got a little bit closer into the next structure. It's finding some resistance in here. So maybe there's a little bit of a potential trade as price maybe getting a little bit closer, potentially moving, and maybe this can be one of the targets in here until eventually perhaps price can go all the way closer to that level, at least closer to here. So that's something in here on the Euro Aussie, something to keep an eye on as well. Yeah, and then Pound Aussie as well. It made a really strong push up, and it's getting closer to this level. Maybe even no. Yeah, so we'll see. But Pound Aussie also reacted from a really nice level from the lows, which means that perhaps we can even go even higher. We'll see. My price kind of respected that level. We'll see if we're going to have some kind of selling pressure closer to these highs, or the price just wants to go even higher from here and continue this bullish momentum that you may have at around this level a little bit into that zone. So that's something to keep an eye on in here on the on Pound Aussie. Like, is there anything in here? There's definitely that zone. We are looking at 30 minutes now. Yeah, there's maybe something in here, maybe even that one. And then maybe when it did manage to break this level as well. Yeah, so yeah, above this side maybe can be something closer to that zone. So that's something to keep an eye definitely on the Pound Aussie. We have New Zealand. New Zealand got a little bit closer. Okay, so we got into this demand zone. I still like the idea that price could go even a little bit lower. All right, so we did a little bit of that reaction, then fake out this level, start breaking some highs, so that's something to bear in mind. We did manage to break this high in here, finding some kind of resistance just above that. There is a high that is being taken, and I would like to see maybe a new push down and then move to the upside. I like kind of a little bit of the compression as well that is being created on the way down. Eventually we could have a strong push up. This level, again, as I mentioned, is an engulf to the upside. If you are taking into consideration this high, then price just respect the next level, totally okay. But we did manage to break a high, and price again in the bigger picture, it is reacting from a good level on the left side, so we could find some more bullishness in here. Of course, we need the dollar as well to turn, and let's see if it is tomorrow or not. Right? Let's see if it is tomorrow or not. Okay. Then we go into the yen pairs, right? So looking at the Aussie yen, again, that correction in here from the Aussie, sorry, from the yen pairs. Right, again, it's starting to compress. It's missing still a proper break to the upside in here. So that's something that is missing on the Aussie yen. And maybe price still wants to go a little bit more to the downside. Maybe can go a little bit higher and then push lower. So that's something that maybe could happen somewhere around this level. Yeah, to keep an eye on in here. Then we look at the dollar yen. So dollar yen made that reaction. Okay, so that was a nice turn in here. Again, price did manage to break below that low, maybe open into this compression, but kind of reacted from something there. But in terms of the PAs, you can see we did manage to start breaking some highs in here, and then eventually have that fake out, and now price turning, breaking into this level. We'll see how price may react from here or not. Okay, it's going to react from this left shoulder and go, but it's going to eventually kind of break again, maybe react a little bit closer to this level. All of a sudden it starts being a bit more bullish in here. So that's something also to keep an eye on. And if price does want to go back into this level again, I do kind of like still this level. I think this is a nice demand zone that price kind of created, and price went up in alignment with this move. So I think there's maybe something in here that the dollar yen can use if it wants to then continue. Yep, basically didn't close the gap, so that's still a space in there to look for, and it managed to break a high. So nice engulf upwards that you have in here. Euro yen, all right? Euro yen, it was the same thing, like good reaction from that level, something that we've been looking for, but then push higher. We talked about yesterday to see if there was kind of an opportunity in here to look for longs. The price kind of just created that low and then push to the upside. Now it did manage to break above it, all right? We did manage to break above it. Good reaction here. Now price basically reacting from this level. We did mention that this high had already broken that level, so that was a nice one. But there you go. Now price is slightly higher. We'll see. All right. So again, if it wants to retest this level one more time, maybe there's an opportunity to look for new longs from here. So that's something to keep an eye on. Right, but that correction on the end pair was something that we have been talking about, and it looks like it was it was kind of obvious after such a big move to the downside in the year. Pound yen also turning, all right, so that was something also that we looked for. There was a little bit more of volatility in here because Governor Baby from the Bank of England, I think he made a comment that maybe for next year they are looking for 4 rate cuts, and basically the market reacted. I think maybe it was with this spike in here, and then price just moved. So that was something that it happened in here. But it was the same thing, good reaction from the left side. We talked about that level in here as well, and price starts to break highs, right? Basically, price even broke the kind of trend line, reacting, and we'll see. It could make, of course, it could make this fast kind of retracement back into this level and maybe go long after that. That's kind of my wishful thought in here. That could play out like that. Also managed to take that level in here. In bigger picture, you can even continue to go lower. Of course, you can maybe get closer to that level, but for now, again, we could potentially have some kind of retracement before a continuation to the downside. Yeah, so that's something to bear in mind. Looking at the dollar CAD, still within this range. It's exactly the same thing. We didn't manage to kind of fake out it well, but still within this range in here. All right, so I still see that one as a potential engulf down. Again, where price is reacting, it can still go slightly higher, so there's maybe still a little bit more room to the upside. Price may wants to go slightly higher into there, but on the other side, we do have this. We do have basically that level, basically this left shoulder in here, and this structure that maybe could hold price. Price is ranging in here quite a lot. So if, for instance, for example, if you do have kind of a push like that, you can use this fake out and then just continuation and pushing price into more of this level in here. So again, we will see. Overall, price actually respected quite nicely this demand zone, which means that price may wants to go here in here. Yeah, so we'll see what's going to happen. Again, looks like that the euro, the pound, and so on actually are starting to push maybe a little bit higher. We will see. Euro CAD, like Euro CAD also within this range, and again for a second I thought price maybe would maybe break above it, but it's just still within this range for the last few days. So we'll see. Maybe price wants to go slightly higher, then maybe find some selling pressure closer to this level. Yeah, something that we can keep an eye on. We do have this structure. Our price eventually can break below these lows and then maybe retest a little bit closer to here. Yeah, we'll see. Again, we can maybe just fake out the lows, go higher, or maybe fake out the highs and go lower. That's what happens sometimes when you do have those ranges. But again, not exactly the level that I want to be looking for trades. Pound CAD. This is another one. You kind of look a little bit to see how price would eventually react from that level, and maybe that's a zone that we can keep an eye on to see how price may react from it. Kind of slightly a little bit of a break in there, just respecting the next structure that is clean the orders from here. It was an initial break to the upside. So yeah, we'll see what's going to happen in here on the pound CAD. I'm going to be curious. I'm going to be looking and saving in here the price action to see how price may eventually react from somewhere in there. Dollar franc Swiss, like again, it's another one in the range. I was looking to see if price would get a little bit closer to that level. It didn't manage to break that level, but now just moving down. We do have this demand zone in here as well. So that's maybe something to keep an eye on, just to see how price may react from here. But yeah, overall, we'll see what's going to happen. We broke below it, opened the door to go further down, but I was looking for price to get a little bit closer into here to potentially start looking for that bigger potential sell in here on dollar franc Swiss. But the apparently price is kind of again similar to $0 and so on. It's quite happy to be trading within this Yeah, within that range. Gold, all right, gold is starting to move a little bit more, actually not so much. It still has this vast supply that price can hold, price kind of ranging for, again, similar to the other ones, ranging for quite a lot, with the possibility, of course, to fake out this level, maybe getting a little bit closer to here. It can happen, or maybe this level alone is going to be able to hold price to the downside. We'll see. Yeah, or maybe price could do something like that. Silver. Oh, silver actually had a little bit more of momentum upwards, which actually managed to take this. Okay. Okay, different, a little bit different. But it could definitely go a little bit more to the upside. And then oil, which corrected and basically back at the almost the demand zone. So we did manage to take that structure. Oil also trading within this range in here. So yeah, it can react from here, or it can go into the next one a little bit deeper. So that's something that we are going to be looking for in here. This level, it looks like it's still kind of fresh, even if you consider this level. So somewhere in here or somewhere in there, it's still fresh, and price can even go slightly lower as well. Yeah, so nice initial move, a typical pattern as well. So we took this structure, we create that range, right, and then kind of take out, breaks, and then kind of retest of that like typical pattern as well. Again, it's a bit in the middle, not really my favorite level to look for that setup, but it played out quite nicely. And then Brent as well, quite similar the scenario in here. Yeah, could have gone a little bit higher. Well, we will see. We'll see what's going to happen here. So basically, that's what we have for tomorrow. Again, tomorrow, the main catalyst is going to be the unemployment claims in the US. All right, so that's going to be the biggest one. And then, of course, on Friday we have the NFP. Now, because we have, as I mentioned, basically 2 days in a row of prices ranging, I'm expecting a little bit more of movement, a little bit more of direction. The direction is going to be towards the levels where we eventually are going to be trading at for the NFP. So maybe we're going to have just a momentum day tomorrow, right? Maybe price is going to finally wake up and start moving. For example, the dollar, as we mentioned, like maybe going to go all the way to the retest the highs, the same thing as the euro, potentially swimming all the way in here, right? This is basically we are talking about it around the 130, 140 pips move just to retest these lows in here. So that could happen, all right? So price potentially could, for example, retest from this level and start pushing to the downside towards this level, and then we'll see what's going to happen in here, or the opposite, or maybe price is going to retest something in here, or fake out even these lows one more time, and then push to the upside and start breaking everything in here. I don't think we're going to have another ranging day. Don't really have 3 days in a row like that, maximum 2, and yeah. So tomorrow we may have a momentum price potentially. If price is not happy, if the market is not happy where we are at this point to trade the NFP, and if it wants to get into a new kind of level, then you're going to have that momentum occurring. But I need to see that happening before. Again, the dollar, I'm just being more patient. I think I'm going to be more interested to see where we're going towards to for Friday and potentially trade the NFP than actually trading tomorrow these pairs. Even though, again, New Zealand is one that it's quite interesting to me. As price getting closer to these lows, I think something that I'll be quite interested to look for a potential long in there. The arcade as well, kind of just in the range. The end pairs, if they get a little bit closer to the lows, potentially I'm going to look for longs. If they just continue now to move to the upside, then it's a missed move for me. Not really much I can do about that. But yeah, across the end pairs, I would like to see a retest closer to the lows. And then you have the US indices. That's one that I'm going to be tracking. All right, so I'm going to be looking for potentially a retracement at least, right? So a bit cautious, but I'll be looking for that. On the US indices, again, we talked about the VIX that is at around 13, 12. So that's something that I'm going to be looking for to see if there's a reaction on the VIX as well, which is going to be manifested as well or seen on the US indices. And talk about S&P and NASDAQ more in this case. And the DAX as well is something that I want to pay attention to. The oil, okay, oil is something that I'll be tracking as well. As price getting closer to this demand again, with the potential to even go slightly lower in there. That's something that I'll be tracking as well to look for. And yeah, that's it. Crypto, yeah, price on Ethereum Bitcoin kind of reached that level, which may see a little bit now of selling pressure on Ethereum. We'll see how price may react from there, but it looks like it's still quite bullish at this point. So that being said, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll see where we're going to be at for the NFP. Thank you very much. Bye bye.